It was the 25th day of May, the dream became reality. The legend lives on forevermore. The night the mighty lions roared. That was the best day of our lives. The day we won the greatest prize. Oh, how our hearts they soar with pride. Right underneath that Lisbon sky, that was the best day of our lives. That was the best day of our lives. One down and the game had just begun. But in our hearts we knew that we would overcome. They said our chance was all but gone. But up stepped Tommy, then came Stevie, and the score it was 2-1. Yeah, the legend lives on forevermore. The night the mighty lions roared.
Let's be honest, fellow Celtic fans, none of us enjoy the international break, so it's good. No, it's great to see the boys back. The smiles across the squad, the fans out to welcome the boys at Paradise for this game against Ross County. It's a big game, of course, and we're hoping to see more goals like these.
Wallace crosses it. Hartson, it's a goal for Celtic. It's 1-0. Towards Scott Brown, he's inside the box, takes a shot and it's in the back of the net. The captain puts Celtic 1-0 ahead. He's played it low. Anthony Stokes is 2-1. Shapes to shoot. Blasts it, saved, and it's Commons. Who else? It follows up. Nudges it across to Johansson, and it's in the back of the net. A right-footed finish from the Norwegian. It's 2-0. Just a chance on his right foot, takes a shot, and it's in the back of the net. And Lee Griffiths, out of nothing, has scored his 38th goal of the season. On his left foot, now onto his right, back onto his left, takes a shot, it's in the back of the net. Well, Stuart Armstrong again, a superb goal. Bailey's going to try and get it on his right foot, takes a shot, and it's in the back of the net. He has returned.
Lovely play there from Rogic, stepping away from 15. Rogic into the box. Lovely goal from Tom Rogic, and Celtic lead 3-0.
some of the best goals scored against Ross County in recent seasons, and we're hoping for more of the same this afternoon, and the 3 points that would take us back to the top of the Premiership table. Joining me pitchside to watch this one, Celtic ambassador and former captain Tom Boyd, and current Celtic women's captain Kelly Clark. Kelly, the players never need incentive to play here at home, but that carrot of getting back to the top of the table must really fire them up.
Yeah, and especially after what feels like a really long international break, to get back to the top of the table and put some pressure on the game tomorrow morning. It's exactly what they want. They want to put on a good performance for the fans. It feels like it's been a while since we've been here, so pretty sure they want to play some entertaining football, score some goals and get the 3 points.
Especially after the resulting performance against Livingston, the players won't have enjoyed going away for that international break. They want to get back and make amends quickly on the pitch, Tom.
Yeah, there was a lot of criticism for that game in terms of we played, but we've got to remember we played for 70 minutes plus injury time with 10 men on a pitch that was always proving difficult, and actually we played better, I think, and being a wee bit more creative with the 10. So yeah, it still was a defeat. And one that obviously cost us our lead at the top, and we want to get back. We want to get back where we belong. But it's very early at this moment in time. There will be a couple of swings even before Christmas, and the real stuff really kicks in after the turn of the year. Yeah,
leagues are never won in October or November. Of course, that Ryan Christie suspension means that there will be some changes to the lineup. Let's have a look then at the team that Neil Lennon has selected for this one. Fraser Forster in goal, and a first league start for the Dutch teenager Jeremy Frimpong. He's at right back. Christopher Julian and Christopher Ayer at centre half, and Bolly Bolingoli at left back. Scott Brown in the sitting role behind Rogic and McGregor. Forrest in one wing, Elanusi on the other, and Odson Edward up front. On the bench for Celtic, Craig Gordon, Bauer, El Hamid, Bitton, Hayes, Shved and Bayo. Ross County will be no pushovers. There's plenty of experience in that lineup. The likes of Marcus Fraser, once here of course, Ross Draper, another one, Richard Foster. Plenty of experience in that lineup, and Ross County, no mugs, sitting fifth in the table themselves. I said we'll hear from Neil Lennon shortly. What do you make of that lineup in a league start for Jeremy Frimpong, a player who impressed so well against Partick Thistle here in the Betfred Cup, Tom?
Well, it says a lot for Jeremy and where he is at this moment in time, that he's playing against two guys who we think have played exceptionally well, both Bauer and El Hamid. And for him to come in ahead of them, I think says a lot. The confidence that Neil must have in Jeremy in terms of how he has played. So we want to look for it as obviously a league game. Partick Thistle, we played ever so well against slightly lesser opposition. So today against Ross County, a team, as you're saying, Jerry, very well organised. We see him hopefully still loving to join in the attacks, getting forward at every opportunity. But obviously, I think we've seen at the time with Thistle as well, he was strong defensively as well.
It's such a quick rise in his career since coming. He hadn't played any professional games, but he impressed the Celtic scouts and the Celtic manager in the under-23 game when he played for Manchester City. So Neil Lennon bought him in the transfer window, and very quickly they've been impressed with what they've seen. And one thing that they've impressed about Frimpong, not just his attitude, Kelly, but his blistering pace.
Yeah, I think it's a great bit of work from the club, to be honest. They obviously saw something in that game, and we saw some of it against Partick Thistle, but he's so young with so much time to still develop, and to put that performance in with that confidence at that point in time. It was so easy to watch, and sometimes when these youngsters come in, you're a bit uneasy, you're a bit nervous for them, but I didn't feel like that at all with him, and he's also training really well and fully deserves to start today. Like Tom said, Neil must have full confidence in him to go on the park today and put in a performance that's desired.
Yeah, they've been very impressed with what they've seen at Lennoxtown with Frimpong. So the young Dutch under-19 international gets his first league start. Let's get the thoughts then of the man that picked him this afternoon, Neil Lennon. He's with John Ledwith.
Neil, we've had a 2-week layoff. Has that been a frustrating period, ready to get going again, or has it perhaps come at the right time to regroup and refocus?
No, I think it's been frustrating, to answer your question, off the back of an away defeat. You always want to get momentum and get going again, so we've had to sort of take a step back and, keep our fingers crossed everybody comes back fit. Thankfully they have done, and the only injury we've had is Olivier, so we're hoping he'll be fit for Thursday. And the most important thing was the rest of the international boys came back unscathed.
Team selection, a huge vote of confidence in young Jeremy Frimpong starting this afternoon, but we shouldn't be that surprised. He was very impressive on his debut here.
Well, he's been outstanding this week in training, and you're sort of standing there, wondering why you're holding him back. So hopefully he can take his training performances into the games. You know, he was excellent against Partick Thistle, and I think he's a talented young lad.
Ryan Christie sits out through suspension, but does that open a door for Tom Rogic to perhaps kickstart his season this afternoon?
Yes, of course, and he's in great condition. He's worked very hard behind the scenes, and you can see now that he's fully fit. He's training well, and he's itching to play. So it's a luxury to have as a manager to lose Ryan, obviously, but bring in a quality player like Tom.
Well, as always, best of luck, Neil.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, the Celtic fans really appreciate a manager who gives youth a chance. The old adage that if you're good enough, you're old enough. Another player who you kind of forget that he's still in his very, very early 20s just because of the number of goals he scored for Celtic in big games. Scored another hat-trick for the France under-21 team in the international break is Odsonne Edouard. What an impression he's making, not just at club level but at international level.
Yeah, and he's getting noticed, and doing it in the bigger games is what Odsonne Edouard wants to be and wants to play in, and he's certainly producing on those performances, and that's all you can ask of him. He's out there as a striker now. He's come out of the position where I think everybody thought in the wide left area where he felt a little bit more comfortable. He's now going in there and making that position his own. The strength that he's shown, and obviously the quality of finish, the composure he's shown inside the box, is starting to tell. And as you say, Jerry, he's only a young boy and will improve and improve. And so we have got a great asset at this moment in time, and hopefully he'll be around for a few more years yet to come.
Yeah, and we need players that are big game players. Okay, Ross County might not be the most glamorous opposition, but it's about it's about what the points mean at the moment. Celtic now down to second in the league, and it's players like Odsonne Edouard that Neil Lennon turns to and relies on to score goals in these big important matches.
Yeah, and like you said, it might not be a glamorous match to watch, but sometimes the matches are the most difficult to score in. If Ross County sit in, then it's not easy to find that space, and so when that one chance does come, we need to make sure that we're taking them, and all faith that Odsonne will take the chances that come to him. And like we have said, in a game that might be a bit scrappy, and the opposition probably will try and make it a bit scrappy, that is the most important point of the game, and you need to make sure that you're clinical.
Ryan Christie is a player I'm sure would have been on the team sheet this afternoon but for his suspension after that red card at Livingston. Giving Tom Rogic a chance to come in and perhaps take the jersey off Ryan, it's a big ask. Such a performer Ryan has been, but Tom is a player kind of stop-start because of injuries in the last season or so, but we know he's a player that's got just about everything in his locker.
We've seen the quality from Tom in so many games and big games that we're talking about, and for a game to come into this to get hopefully he'll get the full 90 minutes. We'll wait and see. Obviously Neil knows where he is at that moment in time, but he's somebody that would be invaluable at the team if he's back to his best. We've seen it in cup finals, we've seen it in so many other games, so somebody that has got that quality, as Kelly's talking about, defences coming here and just packing themselves out at the back, and that's where Edwards is invaluable to us, and obviously Tom Rogic is somebody else who can unlock that key with either a shot from the edge of the box or get into the box and helping out. So there's a lot of assets to Tom Rogic, and we're glad that he's getting back to full fitness.
We know that Neil Lennon's not really a fan of social media. He tried Twitter back in the day and then it came off it, but a lot of the players are on social media. Christopher Julian was a player who after the Livingston game took to Twitter to apologise for the performance and his performance to the Celtic fans. Neil Lennon said yesterday, listen, there was no need to do that, but he acknowledged that it's good to see, and I suppose it's good to see for the supporters that the players hurt after a game like that.
Yeah, I think watching from the outside it's often quite easy to just point the finger, and I'm a big believer that all good footballers don't need told when they've not done well. Yes, the manager will take them aside, they'll probably analyse their performances, but as a footballer, if you've had a bad day, you've had a bad day, you don't really need thousands and thousands and thousands of people telling you. But everyone's passionate, the fans are passionate, they'll say how they feel, and obviously Big Chris has wanted to tell them how he felt, and he's come on social media to do that, so it's just one of these things that the fans hurt, but the players do hurt too, and sometimes I do think it's a bit easy to turn a blind eye to that.
Is that something that would you have been right on Twitter back in your heyday, Tom, to apologise for any, not that you'd have any performances to apologise for?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember so many. I'm trying to think the own goal, the time I get sent off, and
there's just all the ones you get reminded of.
I think I'd have been on Twitter every week giving apologies. I'm just glad that I'm in an era, or I was in an era where that wasn't about and it wasn't coming about. But yes, and it's great, and it shows the character of Julian to come out and say those kind of things, because supporters do want honesty in players, and they want them to come out. We don't want to see them after getting beat and maybe not playing well to be going out and celebrating and getting drunk at night and not giving a toss. So they want to see that little bit of commitment, that little bit of passion, but more so they want to see that in the park and turning into performances, into victories. It was a very difficult game at Livingston for, even without 10 men with the 11, and to come out there and things a little bit hard. Maybe he felt it was he did something that he maybe could have done a little bit better. But yeah, we do want a little honesty for our players, and obviously that will mean that he's equally doubly want to try and beat Ross County today.
Well, one player who never has to apologise for any performances is James Forrest. 10 years in the first team here at Celtic Park, and there's a book out. James Forrest has a biography. It's called Homegrown Hero, and it's out for pre-order just now. A great stocking filler as we head towards it Christmas. The launch was made at Lennoxtown last week, and Celtic TV's Ryan Rowe was there to catch up with the Celtic hero.
James Forrest is one of the most lauded prospects from the Celtic Youth Academy in recent years, and was back here at Lennoxtown on a day off no less to unveil his new biography, Homegrown Hero.
Enjoyable looking back, because there's been so many good experiences and good moments over the years, so it's been good to talk about them and remember them again.
At the winger's request, Celtic will make a donation to Celtic FC Foundation's Christmas appeal after the publication of the book. Written by the Celtic View's own Joe Donnelly, interviewees inside include the likes of Scott Brown, Kieran Tierney and Mikael Lustig, as well as coaches past and present. And James admits a book about him wasn't something he could even fathom as a youngster.
It's unbelievable, as I said, like you're coming through the youth and you're focused on playing football. You're never thinking you're going to get a book for playing for Celtic. But as I said, it was really positive when the club come and say they want to do it, and I think it gives you a lot of confidence in that as well. So as I said, like it's been 10 years here, and I just want to, as I said, like keep working hard and keep getting more years. Playing with Celtic. As I said, like I've been here for so long and had really good relationships with so many players and like managers as well. So no, it's good, and I think like maybe hearing what they say and that as well will make me feel good. And as I said, it gives you confidence, and you must be doing something right if you've been at such a big club for 10 years. And no, it's been enjoyable.
And what a decade it's been. A treble winner on the pitch. It also seems he's a great guy off the pitch. Every single person that's been asked to contribute to the book has said the same thing. Anything for Jamesy. After all, he is a true homegrown hero.
So a great Christmas present to be had there. James Forrest book, Homegrown Hero, available to pre-order now. In this modern day of football and players agents and trying to get good deals and move all over the place for the money, we don't see many stories like James Forrest. Kelly, a player who is brought up at a club, brought up supporting a club, joins the club, plays with the club and stays with the club.
No, I think, to be honest, for any young Celtic fan, James should be an absolute hero, an idol, supporting the club, joining the academy young, staying at the club, the passion and everything, the development is fair play to the club, testament to the club, how he's been brought on, and his own attitude. There's also his desire to stay here, to play well, like you said, with agents and all this big money deals everywhere just now. For James to come out and talk about Celtic the way that he does, it's so pleasing, because I often say that a lot of these big players it's just for money. They don't do what their heart wants to do. They do what their head wants to do or what their agent wants to do, and it's so disappointing. But James is a breath of fresh air.
So a donation will be made to the Celtic FC Foundation, and I don't know if you can hear the song behind me that's being played here inside Celtic Park, but that's another very special song at the heart of the Celtic FC Foundation. It's a new song called Walking Down the Road to See the Boys, and it's been written and sung by Emma Hale. Emma Hale is a singer-songwriter and Celtic supporter. In fact, her late grandfather used to play for Celtic, the defender John Morrison. So Emma Hale's written this song. All the proceeds go to the Celtic FC Foundation. It's available now on iTunes. Just let me repeat, it's called Walking Down the Road to See the Boys by Emma Hale. So it's getting its first rendition here at Paradise, and all proceeds for those that buy it on iTunes, or I think it's available to stream on Spotify as well, will go to the Celtic FC Foundation. Just back on James Forrest, Tom, we're talking about social media and publicity and self-publicity. It's something that James Forrest doesn't get involved in, and he's quite unusual in this day and age. He doesn't have a Twitter account, doesn't get involved on Facebook. In fact, he acknowledges himself, just even the prospect of the spotlight of a book being about him is kind of against his nature. But he feels privileged that is the case. But I suppose it pays testament to the kind of guy he is, the kind of professional he is. That to him, it's just all about the football on the pitch.
He's maybe a modern day Tom Boyd. I'd be James Forrest at this time. But yes, where James is coming from, I can certainly understand. You want to focus on the football. There are so many other distractions that about you nowadays that can divert your attention away from it. And I think where James has come from and how he's lasted 10 years is an improvement to James is for a wee young boy who had a lot of pace as a winger to then develop the composure and when he goes into the box and finishes. And I think certainly a lot learned under I think Neil that years, then Brendan and back to Neil. So there's been a lot that he's come through and a lot of different managers, and I think he's learned about everything, and it's about taking that in rather than taking all the outside influences that you can have to distract you.
So just about 10 minutes to kick off here. Paul Currahy and Simon Donnelly high up in the Celtic Park gantry, waiting to take you through every kick of Celtic v Ross County. Before that, let's have a look back at some of the best bits of the season so far.
All over Bonnie, Scotland, Glasgow, Dublin, Belfast and Donegal. In New York, Toronto, Boston, Sydney, Brisbane, one and all. It's Celtic, wherever we may roam. Celtic's in our hearts, you never walk alone. Celtic, you know it's gonna be. Celtic's the team for me. Celtic, wherever we
El-Yunusi with his first Celtic goal there, and that recent 2-0 victory over Cluj. He's in the starting 11 for this afternoon's game against Ross County, and we are just 5 minutes away from kick-off here in Celtic Park. Neil Lennon inside, looking to get back to winning ways. I'm joined here in the commentary position by Simon Donnelly. And Simon, I suppose the frustration for the Celtic players was after that Livingston game, we've had to wait 2 weeks. You're guessing they're going to come right out the traps from the first whistle today?
I hope so. Hi Paul, obviously that's the plan. I've experienced those games before where you have a really disappointing, frustrating result away at Livingston, and then you have to wait a week or a week and a half to make amends. You know, the boys, again speaking from experience, where they wanted to go on the pitch the next day and try and correct that score. So yeah, we're looking for them to come out the traps. Ross County have a decent start to the season. They'll be dogged here, they'll try and frustrate, and as we say all the time, it's imperative that Celtic get a real fast start and hopefully get a goal and open things up.
Neil Lennon makes 2 changes from that team that played against Livingston. So Celtic starting 11, if you haven't seen it yet, it's Fraser Forster in goal. Jeremy Frimpong makes his second appearance after that impressive start against Partick Thistle in the League Cup. He's at right back, Wally Bolingoli's at left back. Christopher Jullien and Chris Ayer are the central defenders. In the midfield, Scott Brown is in front of the back four. Tom Rogic comes in place of the suspended Ryan Christie alongside Callum McGregor. And then we have a front three of James Forrest, Odsonne Edouard and Mohamed El-Yunusi. A few of the players were on international duty, and I think we have to mention Odsonne Edouard, because I think he's now scored 9 goals in 4 appearances for the French under-21 side, and I think the Celtic fans are impressed with that, but at the same time hoping that nobody sees it, because he must be attracting the attention of every club in Europe.
Yeah, and we only have to look to current times with Moussa Dembele here, you know, and heads turning with his form. You know, I think he was in fantastic form with under-21s as well at one point, but as long as Odsonne's wearing the green and white hoops, we're happy. You know, he's had a fantastic start to the season, scoring in big games, composure, and it's fantastic to see him taking his form to the international level, and hopefully, you know, there's a first senior cap round the corner for him as well.
Well, he's an important player for Celtic, and of course we'll hope to be this afternoon. It's second place Celtic, hoping for the victory to go back top of the table against Ross County in 5th, as Simon said. They've started the season well, and their season back after that 1 year in the Championship, and you know, I think their joint management team, they'll be pleased with the way they've started, because I think particularly when teams go back up, it's important that you get that foundation, because at some point in the season things might get a bit tough for them.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm really impressed with the way they've came up and taken to the Premier League. You know, I look through their team there, they've got quite a bit of experience. I've worked with 2 or 3 of those boys, Spittle, Watson, Gardyne, Dundee United. Ross Draper's been over the course, you know, so they've got experience there. And they've started really well, but again, it's all about what Celtic do in days like this at Celtic Park. And on the back of the Livingston game, you know, I'd expect them to come out here and seal the 3 points up quite emphatically.
We saw a goal there from El-Yunusi against Cluj, his first goal. His form, he was rewarded with a call up to the Norwegian squad as well, so he'll come back full of confidence as well, and looking just to add to those goals today.
Yeah, I was really impressed with him. I think we covered the game against Cluj. Energetic, strong, working really hard, winning the ball, scored a goal, albeit a deflection, but was there, you know, at the start of the move, finished the move off. And great to see Rogic back as well, because on his day there's few better than him. He's obviously had a few injury problems and not getting in the team through maybe Christie's form, so he's got a chance today.
Don Robertson, the referee for this afternoon, he leads the sides out. Captains for Celtic, of course, Scott Brown, and former Celtic player Marcus Fraser made a couple of appearances for Celtic, including a game against Rennes in the Europa League a few years ago. He's got the captain's armband for Ross County, one of a number of former Celts in that starting 11. Michael Gardyne came through the ranks, didn't quite make it here, but it's had a very impressive career, homing in 400 appearances for Ross County. Joe Chalmers, another player who came through the ranks at the same time as Marcus Fraser. Of course, they will be very familiar with the likes of Callum McGregor and James Forrest. Exciting, I think, to see Jeremy Frimpong again this afternoon. I mean, I think everybody was impressed with him in the Partick Thistle game. I know from the way the players have been working with him on a daily basis at Lennoxtown, that they think there's a real player of real potential there.
Great opportunity, you know, he did fantastically well against Partick in the Cup. He's got his chance today again, you know, and go and take it, son. You know, it's a great opportunity here at Celtic Park to go and play your first league game. So I'm excited to see how he fares.
Of course, it is the start of another busy schedule of games. We have Lazio here on Thursday night in the Europa League. We're at Pittodrie next weekend, and I suppose these are the games as well the manager will want to use the squad. He's got Bauer and El Hamid, who both experienced right backs, on the bench, and I'm sure they'll come back into it in these important games